Welcome, everybody, to the So Says Shernoff interview archives. I'm Josh Shernoff, and this week's episode features an interview that, again, much like last week, has never been heard before. This is with wrestling legend Savio Vega. Now, I conducted this interview back on February 1st, 2020 at the MLW show at the old ECW arena. But again, much like last week with Brian Pillman Jr., what Savio Vega has to say is evergreen. Savio talks all about his career, how he got into wrestling, and he even talks about that time he replaced Shawn Michaels on a pay-per-view. It didn't really go over too well with the fans. So with that, let's get to my interview with Savio Vega. But I'm joined now by Savio Vega. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Let's jump right into it. You have a long story career in professional wrestling. What got you into this business in the very beginning? What was that moment when you said, "This is what I'm going to do"?
Hey, thank you for having me. This is a long time ago. It was a Sunday. I remember details. I don't know, maybe 12 years, 11 years, I don't know. I was surfing through channels in home. We have a small Hitachi black and white TV, and that TV took more bumps than me in my career. And I picked the television, put it in my room, and I surf. And we have channel 2, 4, 6, 7, and 11. So when I went to channel 7, right there was Titans of the Ring, Titanes en el Ring, from Argentina. Martin Carabaquian. They have characters. The mummy guy with the mummy costume. You got the STP guy with the racing car. You have whatever character you think about it is there, you know. And that was like a flash through my eyes, inside my brain somewhere, and still there. When I saw that, I went like, I would like that. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock, I have to be in the front of my TV. I cannot miss that. Then later in school, we start talking about the wrestling, the one that I was watching. That's when my friend says, "It's another wrestling in Channel 4. What? Where?" And when they tell me, I check, and another punch in my brain. And I start watching local wrestling. That was WWC. With Carlos Colon,
sure,
the Invader, Abdullah the Butcher, all that. I started watching, it was 74, 75, maybe 75, 1975, and I started watching. Every Saturday I was watching that wrestling. Then with the friends in school, they're watching too. I went with their parents. And then to the wrestling matches. Then, basically, going every Saturday, I noticed that I have two cousins, one uncle and one cousin working as a security.
Really?
That's when I say, I know those guys. So I went there. Hey, what are you doing here? So watching wrestling. Now I say, next Saturday, I say, can I go with you? And I start going, with them. I start growing up. And I I was doing already the Taekwondo, martial arts next to my house. And watching this wrestling, all the matches that they do. And one time I said, I'd like to work with you guys. So they say, well, let's see. I got 17 maybe. When I got the 17, all these years, my friend, I was watching wrestling and going to the wrestling gym. When I start going to the wrestling gym, this friend of mine, he left the dojo for almost a year. This day he come back and we are stretching. And I ask him, hey, what are you doing? He say, I was wrestling. I opened my eyes and I grabbed it by the kimono. I said, you doing what? Wrestling. I said, you have to take me there. And all the time I was grabbing him. He's like, okay, but leave me alone. I say, you have to take me there. I want to be a wrestler. I like wrestling. I say, okay, don't worry. Let's work it out. I'm a kid. So, I say I'm a kid, but I was growing up. He took me to Dorado, which is a next town to my hometown. Hey, I don't have a car. So I pay these old timers there $2 for gasoline. So they drop me there. Oh, wow. And I looked the way to come back home. quiet. I don't want to tell my parents. And I was going over there. Chiqui Star was there, El Profe was there, and all the other local wrestlers. So I learned from those guys. Working as a security, I was close to the big shows, to the old wrestlers. I remember when Bruce Brody arrived in Puerto Rico the first time. Abdullah the Butcher, all these major superstars. And at the same time, I was wrestled too, local. Isaac Rosario is a guy that trained Carlos Colon. And we went to his hometown to give him recognition. Mm-hmm. And he come to the dressing room, he looked at me and said, "What are you doing here?" So you wrestle? I said, "Yeah, I wrestle." I said, "Okay." So I went there, do my match. He come back in the dressing room, open the door and say, "Hey, you wrestle better than all these guys." And I'm like, hey, they're my friends, I'm like, "Shine." He said, "I want to talk to Carlos. You have to do a tryout." I'm like, "Okay."
I can argue with that, right?
Hey, and I know him because they're wrestling, And I was doing security. Right there, all my friends said, remember me. I said, "Hey, I didn't even have nothing. How the hell am I going to take you there?" So next Saturday, they're in the Lubrier Stadium. And I talked to my boss. I said, "Hey, Isaac told me that he's going to talk to Carlos to wrestle." I said, "Okay, let's do that." So they put me in the center field of the ballpark. I'm like, "How the hell are you going to look at me?" I said, "Don't worry. We're going to move you." The time I was right, they put me in the front of the dugout. And here Carlos looking, he's a wall, and he's like, like scared or what, I don't know. But he was like, "All right, tell him to come in." I went inside the dressing room. Now I'm inside. I'm like, oh my God, oh. Sure. And he said, Invader was the booker at that time. He said, "You got your wrestling gear?" I said, "Yes." I have nothing. Yes. To compare it to the level of what they doing. And that's when he said, "Wednesday, you do television." I'm okay. So I was there already. They put me. I did two matches. One with the Super Medic. I did another one with one of the Brett's Hart brother. He was living in Puerto Rico by that time. Then from there, they start training me. I mean, I say training me because I want so bad to be a wrestler that I was there every time. Every time that they called me for something, I'm there. It took me, maybe 2 years and a half. I did 20 characters, 20 things they teach me. Once they see me coming and say, "Oh, let's see what happened." But they see the kid there, and the kid's there, he's learning, and blah, blah, blah. So they sent me to Louisiana, they sent me to Mexico. A story about Louisiana. Yeah. First, I mean, my by that time, when I told my parents, "Hey, they're gonna send me to Tennessee, to wrestle."
What's the reaction to that?
My dad went like, "No way, you're not going nowhere. A lot of races there. You don't speak English," and I'm like, "I'm going." My head is like, "Yeah, I'm going." So they canceled Tennessee. I don't know what reason, and they say, "Let's go to Louisiana."
Maybe your dad called.
Maybe.
Right.
And my dad said, "That's even worse. Don't go nowhere." I said to my mom, "I'm going." So I went, took my plane, and whoop, they sent me to Bill Watts territory. Oh. My English was 0%. The only thing I know in English was the high spots and stuff like that, holes and stuff like that. And what happened? My bags got lost. So I'm there waiting for my bag, no bags. My first flight, and my second flight, because I flew to Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic before for Taekwondo tournament. So I'm like, okay, and I hear this Cuban family talking in Spanish. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Listen, what happened?" He said, "Well, the flight is another flight coming back, blah blah blah." I said, "Okay." I wait there. My bag, finally. I'm waiting. By that time, no cell phones, no beepers, no nothing. Just go to the payphone. I went to the payphone. I called my mom. I say, "Nobody's gonna pick me up here. I'm going back." I bring some money. I said, "I'm gonna buy another ticket going back home." She said, "Oh, relax. If somebody come." What happened is I can call the booker in Puerto Rico was the shipper Luke Williams.
Okay.
They're already in the south area of the island. They have a show over there, so there's no way to connect them. So I have to wait till after 12 o'clock, Puerto Rican time, and I got in touch with him. He said, okay, yeah. He is in Lafayette, Louisiana. He gonna pick you up after that. I said, okay. I wait there. The airport, that's a small airport in Baton Rouge, they close at midnight. So, hey, everybody, get out. 2 guys, another guy there, and me. So they have to, get out. So I'm sitting down outside. They turn all the lights off. Somebody picked the guy, and Grayson Smith arrived about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
I'm there like, okay, I think I have to fight somebody here. But nobody, you there, you can't even see me. Everything's dark. Here come, that's white and red Impala. Here come Grayson Smith. Hey, Juan! I say, yes, come on. All right, get in. He started talking to me in English. I'm like, yeah, yes. So finally, he put me in a hotel over there. He said, oh, you have to pay the hotel. I'm like, okay. So I pay the hotel. Next day, I remember, he said, next day, Skandar Akbar was my manager. He said, he's going to pick you up, and you go into such a place. All right, here's Skandar, arrive. I sleep on the floor 2 nights, because no room yet, because we got to move to another complex.
Oh, wow.
So I stay in Skandar Akbar's room for 2 nights, sleep on the floor, till I got, they opened the office. It was a weekend. So Monday, I got my room, blah, blah. I stayed there for almost 4 months. That's when I met Jed the Snake, which I mean, he was a wonderful person with me. He teach me. He grabbed me by the hand and explained me everything, what I have to do in the ring. At the moment I was doing my work. Ted DiBiase, Sambuya Express, Skandar Akbar, Kamala, Steve Williams, Dr. Dead, Steve Williams. I met all those guys, before they went to WWF.
Yeah.
I worked with all them. Then I'm back to Puerto Rico. That's when they sent me to Mexico. From Mexico, come back to Puerto Rico. This is about total 8 months, maybe a year. Mm-hmm. That's when we did the character TNT. That's what they say, cut you afro out. I'm like, what? Cut my hair? He's like, yeah, you're going to paint your face. I'm like, They do an experiment. So I went home, and I tell my wife, I have to cut my hair. She's like, what? Yeah, because they want to do something like this. I said, what are you going to do? I said, well, do it. Let's try. I just cut my hair. Next day, I was taking some sun to take the white out,
Yeah, right.
And so they experimented about the race and born of TNT. Mm-hmm. I've been watching and learning what happened every time. And was this experiment? I remember Invader. He put his arm around me, walking down the aisle on the dressing room. He said, well, this is the opportunity. Or you make it, or get the hell out of here. I said to him, I looked at him, I said, don't worry, I got this. I have already 2 years on something with experience working with people that took advantage of me about let's kick the hell out of the kid. Right. So the kid was learning. I learned from all these old timers. Sorry. And was taking my time learning and listen and learning how to speak the English and digest the spots. So once I got that, I said to him, don't worry, I got it. So I went inside the ring. They put me 3 matches. And I know they told these guys, pushing him. Let's see what happened. Because the way they behave with me in the ring, they don't do that before I work with them. So I just noticed, and I know you're going over, but
you're getting tested.
Let's see what happened. And I passed the test, boom. So that's when they say, all right, we got somebody here. So what they did is I was there just on TV for almost a year. Mm-hmm. I beat everybody, left and right, everybody. Because we won Carlos Colon and the story, blah, blah, blah. But the story of my life in wrestling being good. Abdullah the Butcher took me to Japan to one of the biggest tag team tournament, Obaba's office. All Japan Pro Wrestling. That's my first time in Japan. After that, Baba saw me work. He said, I want him next month. You know, and I have a picture, me giving my sidekick to Baba right there on the chin.
How
boom?
How high did you have to get up for that?
Oh yeah, I was stretching big time, and that match is on YouTube. Yeah, I put that foot right there. Even Abdullah is in the picture. He's like, whoa, like, what the heck? It was good. Baba took me there. I went to a few tours with them. Then Carlos don't want me to go out because, hey, this is my chicken golden egg. So I want to keep it here. I say, I want to go there, make money. But they don't want me to go out. What I did is, a few years later, Hugo Sabinovich quit the company, and I went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Victor Quiñones booked me there. Then I worked with them. Razor Ramon was already, and I worked with Scott Hall in Puerto Rico many times. The cowboy Scott Hall, and that's when I tell them that was Fatu. I was already in Japan with Fatu, Yokozuna, Bam Bam Bigelow, Bader. I was with all those guys before they went to WWF.
Right.
So I say, hey,
Everyone knew you.
hey, yeah, they know me. I worked with them many times. That's when I said to one of the guys, tell him, Scott, I say hello. The guy, I think it was Fatu. He come back and say, here's his number, page him. And I call him later, and he say, hey, I talked already to the man, and you coming down. I said, what? Say, I got you a tryout. I said, whoa, man, fuck, thank you. So I finished with Japan. I did my tryout, and like 3-4 months later, they called me, you know, and I worked with them. During that time, when I did my tryout, my first match, I was soft with the guy. Scott come back in the dressing room and chop me hard. He say, what's going on with you? I said, what happened? He say, where's the guy that should beat me all the time in Puerto Rico? What do you do there? I said, well, I just want to take care. No, I want the badass of them. Okay, tomorrow you have a match. You got it. So next day, I was, you know, a savage in the ring. And they say, okay, you got a job. By that time, I was there, like I say, like 4 months in home, no working nowhere, nothing, no money coming in. I just regular job. And I called the office, talked to one of the secretaries, and she said, well, let me put somebody. He put me, Pat Patterson. I said, sir, listen, I did try out with you guys like this. I said, yeah, I remember you. I said, well, you gonna give me a job or not? Because I'm dying here. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, we got some problem, blah, blah, blah. Well, so they bring me there, sign here. You know, give me the contract. They flew me in the morning, sit down with Vince and J.J. Dillon, and the afternoon I was already home with the contract.
Wow.
He said, took it to your lawyer or whatever, you know. I think I don't need no lawyer. I want the job, you know. And sign and have the job with them. That's when they say, well, let's do something with you. They put me under the mask with Kwang.
Right? Yeah.
So Kwang was a TNT with the mask, you know. And I was doing the same character.
Do you think they put you under a mask because they didn't want, they were still kind of almost trying you out in a way? Didn't know and said, hey, let's have him under mask. If this doesn't work out, then whatever.
They don't want me with the pain because they have the Road Warriors coming in.
Ah, okay.
So they don't want
that
me.
Makes sense then.
Yeah, they don't want me with pain. I'm on top of that, they have in mind bring Hakushi.
So right,
you know,
so
they have that already planned. So they put me in the mask.
I remember your debut as Savio Vega.
Yeah.
And they acknowledged that you had been there under a mask, which I didn't know until recently. And over the last year, I, for whatever reason it was watching that episode of Raw. And I found that really interesting that they had actually, because that didn't happen a lot, you know, that they would acknowledge that you were that same character, but you were there. I think you maybe were coming to save.
Yeah, it was something Jarrett and Rhodey jump on him, whatever, and I jump over the fence and make the save.
How did that come about to make that switch from Kwang to Savio Vega?
Easy. I was already into the business, I don't know how many years, and I have the, what is it called? The balance to do one thing and another. Juan never talk. Was quiet all the time, just be action in the ring. They put Savio Vega to talk, you know. And,
why did they decide, though, to switch from, was that just one day they just came to you?
To be honest,
hey, we're taking the mask off.
Okay, let's do this. They need one of the things that I hear, they need a Puerto Rican for the Puerto Rican Day Parade coming up a year later. So they have Savio Vega. Let's do something. So they bring the Savio Vega for the South Bronx and the bad guy from South Miami.
Right.
So you got two bad situations there, and these two sort of guys, they're friends. So let's see what happened. Kind of a gang gimmick, but with the what's it called? The idea of going deep on gangs and stuff like that, you know, just two bad guys. So, I mean, by the time Razor don't want to be a tag team, he just want a single. He say, this company is a single man. I don't want to be a tag team. They want to put the belts on us. He said, no, I don't want no belts. No, please. So no belts, you know. But I have blast with that company. I work with them. I learn a lot. Then from there, we went to Puerto Rico and opened IWA.
Yeah. So before we get to that, though, you had a long career in the WWE. You were, you know, from like we just said, Quang to Savio Vega to then doing the Los Pericos and like
Nation of Domination.
Nation of Domination. How could I even forget that? What was your favorite moment? If you had to pick your favorite moment in the WWE.
Wow, so many, to be honest. Because I will always work hard to get the crowd their money back, in where they leave that arena, at least with my match, happy. Where if I see them outside, they come on, you know, and talk to me and be happy because I make them happy. Right. You know, I always learned that from my beginnings to try to be the best match of the night without hurt nobody or hurt myself. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. There was one match. I'm curious. It just popped into my head. Shawn Michaels got injured.
Oh yeah.
And they said there was going to be, and this is kind of in wrestling lore now. People talk about it, but they said there's going to be a mystery replacement for Shawn Michaels, and it was you. Yep. And that didn't go over while everybody really enjoyed you the rest of the time. In that instance, it didn't go over because I think they were thinking, oh, Shawn Michaels is out. They're looking who higher up the card, who's, you know.
And I was doing the Boricuas by that time.
Yeah.
I wasn't even single.
It was random because you had your solidified spot in that company. Yeah. And you know, and you did that spot as well as anyone. Yeah. But that was such like a random time. When they came to you with that, did you think to yourself, "Oh, this isn't going to go over well," or did you think, like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I know. I was knowing my spot there. They talked to me and they say, "Well, Savio, you're going to take the spot of Shawn." I said, "Okay." So we sit
down. You're not going to say no.
He's
right?
like, "Yeah, I'm already there," and even work that night. You know, just it's a pay-per-view, and they say, "Well, you're going to work. You know, you on now," because I said, "Let's go. I'm here." So they managed the finish in where they don't wanted to take the finish on me because I mean already their level those guys was high. I was doing another thing, no on top, and that's why they switched. They took the fall on Rhodey, I believe, something like that. I don't know. Happy because there was another payday there for me. Sure. But knowing my spot. Knowing that not going nowhere else, right. You know, the experience told me that. We're happy because I talked to what is it called, Mick Foley, and I just found out a roll of butter wire in one of the bags, the cases. I said, Mick, it's a butter wire over there. He said, bring a piece. So yeah, let's use it. Oh, so nobody know that. Oh, Steve was pissed. Terry Funk and me, they are mad because I mean I wrapped this guy in a barbed wire from nowhere. What the hell are they doing? So happy, you know. I put my cherry on the top.
And you had to. That had to have made you feel however the audience felt or whatever it was. It had to make you feel good because from what I've heard over the years about that was they chose you because they looked at you and said, "This is a guy we know we can plug in here, and he's going to do it. He's going to, this is going to be a good match." There was no question about that.
No, they know.
Yeah, and to look and say, we need someone to replace a Shawn Michaels, and to come to you, that had to make you feel good.
They know, Vince know my work. I was there to work hard. Even sometimes I was hurt and I was there doing my work. And they know that wasn't out of the, no question about that. Even I worked with all those guys before, single matches, So, hey, let's pick Savio. Let's do, somebody to do. It's important pay-per-view. That was a 4 against 4, match, and they have to deliver. They cannot go low. I mean, not with the respect all the other boys, all the other guys, that anybody could do it, but hey, Savio Vega, right?
Yeah, right? So, obviously, with all that, here you are now, you're working with MLW. What motivates you? Obviously, we talked about a payday. Everyone loves a payday. That's a big motivator.
Yeah.
But really, what motivates you at this stage in your career to get out there and still compete and still be in the ring?
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a passion for this, without question, from a young age, as you talked about. But what is that extra thing that makes you go? Because you're a guy who could easily, forgetting paydays aside and all of that, you're a guy who could sit back and say, look at my body of work, look what I did. I had a hell of a career.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yep. And I'm happy. I'm happy.
So what's that thing that
a lot
keeps
of people,
you doing it?
a lot of people ask me, hey, when are you going to retire? I said, well, I'll retire when I die. I love wrestling. I love what I'm doing. Of course, my body is one thing and my brain is in another. Yeah. I don't want to be honest, I don't want to be wrestled no more. I don't think I have to show anybody in the wrestling or in the world anything. So I'm still doing it because I love it. I want to help this generation somehow to put my what is it in English? Let's put the cherry on the cake.
Yeah, the cherry on top.
On top, and help this generation to teach them that less is more. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't go crazy. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt nobody. Take your time doing stuff. I wasn't a big flying guy, but when I have to fly, I do it. Right. When the time is right. These days, it's no timing. Everybody want to be flying. Everybody's on top. Mm-hmm. So you're doing the same thing. The fans are going to be, and I'm here for that. I'm here to help whoever talent in MLW on anywhere in the world too, because when I do local matches in Puerto Rico, I watch the kids and I try to teach them whatever they need in that moment. But I'm happy. I'm happy here. I don't want to be, like I say, I love production. Mm-hmm. I love production. Be behind the scenes, the television stuff. I love that. I learn a lot from in Puerto Rico. Let's say, I was in a university in Puerto Rico. Then I went to another university in the state with WWF. Mm-hmm. Then come back to Puerto Rico and perform that and take it to another level. Working in Spain, in Japan, in India. When we did Rika King over there with TNA, working with TNA also too. Mm-hmm. And hey, I'm here now. I'm here to help these people here.
And is that the legacy you kind of want to leave in this business? When people look back, they can see your body of work, they can see the athlete that you were, but then also at the end of that say, and then he spent however many years grooming that next group to come up.
Yeah, well, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, hey, well,
but
that's. I think I speak for a lot of people. I said that's kind of how we see it. You're here. Yeah. You're imparting some of your wisdom and everything that you've learned and experienced on a younger talent. They can only grow from being able to interact with you.
In Puerto Rico, always since I notice how to work production. Yeah. I always like to work with the young talent because that's the one that's gonna come. Yeah. If you teach them something good, of course they're gonna teach something good, and that's what I'm trying. I try to do my best.
Well, I think you've done a little bit better than maybe you even think. This has been an absolute honor for me to be able to sit down and talk with you. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yes.
Really appreciate it, and best of luck with everything you continue to do.
Thank you very much, and everybody watch IWA Puerto Rico. Check on YouTube, IWA Puerto Rico, and MLW, the best company in the States.
That's it for this episode of So Says Shernoff Interview Archives. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast feed for more great interviews all summer long, leading up to the return of So Says Shernoff every week starting this fall. Give us a follow on social media if you'd be so kind at So Says Shernoff and at Shernoff Show. Give us a subscribe over at youtube.com/So Says Shernoff, where you can find a lot of this content and more in video form. I hope you'll join us again next week for another interview. This has been So Says Shernoff, because that is what Shernoff had to say.